all say right. Awesome, the Christian and Christian Dior. Damn, they don't make them like this anymore. I ask, cause I'm not sure. Do anybody make real shit anymore? Bow in the presence of greatness. Cause right now that has forsaken us. You should be honored by my lateness, that I would even show up to this fake shit. So go ahead, go nuts, go ape shit. Especially in my pastel on my babe shit. Act like you can't tell who made this new gospel, homie. Take 6 and take this, haters. That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya. I need you right now. I need you right now. I don't know if you got a man or not, if you made plans or not, if God put me in your plans or not. I'm tripping, this drink got me saying a lot, but I know that God put you in front of me. So how the hell could you front on me? It's 1,000 yous, it's only one of me. I'm tripping, I'm caught up in the moment, right? Cause it's Louis Vuitton dine night, so we gon' do everything the kind like. Heard they do anything for a Klondike. Well, I'll do anything for a blind dyke, and she'll do anything for the limelight, and we'll do anything when the time's right. Baby, you're making it faster, stronger. That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya. I need you right now. I need you right now. You know how long I've been on ya, since Prince was on Apollonia, since OJ had isotoners. Don't act like I never told ya. Don't act like I 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 told ya. Baby, you're making it faster, stronger. That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya. I need you right now. 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 You know how long I've been on ya, since Prince was on Apollonia, since OJ had isotoners. Don't act like I never told ya. You know how long I've been on ya, since Prince was on Apollonia, since OJ had isotoners. Don't act like I never told ya. 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 Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Woo. Everybody just have a good time. Clap. Party rock is in the house tonight. Oh. Everybody just have a good time. I can feel this tonight. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Yeah. We just wanna see you shake that.
In the club, party rock. Looking for your girl, she on my jock. Now stop when we in the spot. Booty moving weight like she on the block. With a drink, I got to know. Top jeans tattoo, cause I'm rock and roll. Half black, half white, diamond now. Gang of money, open up.
Yo, I'm running through these halls like Drano. I got that devilish flow, rock and roll, no halo. We party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm repping on a rise to the top. No lead in our Zeppelin. Hey, party rock is in the house tonight. Woo! Everybody just have a good time. Yeah, and we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Let's go. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Feel it, man. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you shake that.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Step up fast and be the first girl to make me throw this cash. We get money, don't be mad, now stop. Hating is bad. One more shot for us, another round. Please fill up my cup, don't mess around. We just wanna see you shaking it. Now you home with me. You're naked now.
Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound. Put your hands up to the sound. Put your hands up to the sound. Get up, 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 get up. Put your hands up to the sound, to the sound. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good, good, good time.
Put your hands up.
I can feel it, babe.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Shake that.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Put your, put your, put your, put your,
Yeah.
put your, put your. Put your, put your. Your hands up. Your hands up. Put your hands up.
until tomorrow. If we only know where we wanna go. Coming at your womb style, never hiding our pride. We're always holding on tight. Coming at your womb style, getting high on genocide. And we're always justified.
And here we are again for the third time this weekend. We're bringing you a round of 8 best-of-3 broadcast, and we've got 2 hellacious heavy hitters today in EHOME and LGD. I'm AC, joined by Draskell for this broadcast. And I'll tell you, man, yesterday we had a very highly anticipated match in Orange Esports taking on Team DK. Today might actually trump that when you're talking 2 total powerhouses in the Chinese scene, but it is kind of an old guard versus a new guard sort of a situation. EHOME, it just doesn't get to be a bigger name than that, really. LGD, though, kind of king of the block right now in terms of Chinese Dota, in Dota 2 at the very least. Bans coming out very quickly. Shadow Demon Lesh banned out by EHOME, and Chen banned out by Chen and Lycan banned out by LGD.
I think the problem is the later we get into our bracket, you're not going to have a bad best-of-3.
No.
I mean, especially after this. This is, I believe, one of the last games, round of 8. I think we have this, and then Tongfu versus IG, and that's it.
Yep, that's it.
So the winner of this game faces the winner of Tongfu and IG, which, I mean, mind-blowingly good game probably coming, you know, to your part of the woods soon. I think that, in general, though, I agree. LGD's been looking amazing lately. Like, every time I see them, they get better. And I think they made the full transition over to Dota 2 quite a while ago now, so they're probably fully acclimated with the drafting style to play, and I can't wait to see this game, man. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, it's going to be a great best-of-3. Not going to lie, if you tuned in for our best-of-3 yesterday, we kind of built it up as what needed to be a breakout game for DK. A lot of question marks around that squad in terms of their performance in both Dota 1 and Dota 2 of late. And Orange Esports, they're pretty good. Last I checked, Queen of Pain 15-0, Rampage at 28 minutes, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah, the game where her and the Darkseer 2v5 DK. It's pretty one-sided game, I will say that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case today, but...
And Naga Siren makes it out of the ban pool. Let's see what EHOME... Yep, big surprise.
Yeah, she's quickly filled that role of, if she makes it through, she's going to be picked every single time. And you and I have kind of, over the last few days, just because she is relatively new, but we have casted her probably as much as any couple of casters on the scene right now. We have just seen her played every time she makes it through. And everyone's kind of scratching their head so far as how you deal with her. How do you shut down what she brings in terms of just pure, utter teamfight domination? And I think you and I are both in agreement. You just got to take away what synergizes with her. You can't allow a Tidehunter to be there with her. A Darkseer most certainly can't be there with her. LGD adopting a different approach, which I really like. You and I tend to really enjoy whenever you see the Invoker picked up early, almost always going to be that mid-Exort Invoker that is so invoked. Quaswex making a bit of a comeback, but when you have such a strong single-target stun as what we're going to see coming out of Chaos Knight, probably going to see that synergize with another support that has a slow or a stun. Shadow Demon banned out, so he's not going to be around, but Veno's still around, and that might be something LGD wants to tack on to this early lineup.
It is a possibility. I feel like CK plus any support's just ridiculously strong. It doesn't even matter what it is. The fact that EHOME went ahead and banned Shadow Demon is definitely good. They knew they had first picks, so they're taking out possible either counters or heroes that they simply couldn't let by. I mean, banning out the Darkseer in this situation because they had first pick, that means they were second to last ban. Right. And then LGD obviously took out Furion, so that did open up the Naga Siren for them, and they're going to be happy with it. I mean, Queen of Pain is still in the pool at this point if they want to go for that. I mean, anytime you can synergize Naga Siren Ultimate with any AoE ultimates, and Rubik is pretty decent at that as well if you can spell steal something useful from the other team, but at the moment only really Chaos Bolt and some Invoker spells that he's probably going to be wanting to take. But I like the early Rubik pick, especially because like the Chinese teams love playing him first and foremost, and against a lot of the heavy aggressive lineups that teams will run with heavy magic damage, no field becomes like invaluable during the mid to late stages of the game. We've seen it before, like a Sand King or something will come in and epi you, and you lose like, I don't know, 200 HP. It really seems a lot more than 20% to me whenever I see it, but apparently it is, and Brewmaster going to be seen it from EHOME as well, so they just have a very, very... Oh, man, I can't even imagine how hard it's going to be to team fight with those 2 heroes alone for LGD. They're going to have to pick up their slack a little bit here, I think, in the next couple of picks in terms of 5-on-5.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. As you point out, the Rubik with the null field, that's one thing, but his potential to just... And the thing is, whenever you think about Rubik, it's so tempting to go, well, if he just steals a Black Hole or a Ravage, then it changes everything, and yeah, of course it does. But what's more important is the small spells that he steals. And how often have we seen a Rubik just completely change the outcome of a fight because he steals Burrow Strike from a Sand King? Like, just with that one ability, a Rubik can completely alter the outcome of a fight. Tidehunter going to be picked up by LGD. I like this pick a lot. It's going to give them the potential to at least try to hang with EHOME once Naga Siren does engage, and of course taking it away, just utterly making sure EHOME cannot possibly synergize him with Naga Siren, usually going to be a pretty good decision.
It is a good choice. Honestly, though, they just wanted it. They didn't have to take it here because that was the last hero in the first pick. So they could have banned it out, but they actually legitimately wanted the hero rather than just banning it out straight away. So I think it's a pretty good choice here. Anytime you have extra lockdown for a hero like Brewmaster, it's going to be helpful. My only question is, without a hero like Shadow Demon on the support from LGD, how are they going to be able to kill that Brewmaster and prevent him from getting an ultimate off? Because if Naga Siren and Brewmaster are in the same place, there is almost a 0% chance that the Brewmaster won't be able to ultimate simply because you're going to have Naga's ult, and then you're going to have things like the air aspect cycloning somebody out of the team fight, which in most cases, the heroes that I see right now, I'm going to assume Tide is going to be the target for that.
Right.
And their initiation is going to be very, very strong. So LGD needs to try to do something to basically get past that. I'm not really sure what route they're going to take yet, but I guess we're going to see it here soon because the picks are actually going relatively fast today.
Yeah, taking a look at how EHOME might want to lane this. Brew, you see him mid once in a while. More and more, though, I think the most popular way to lane a Brewmaster is to put him in a long lane situation with a Windrunner. Just run a 2-2-1, or even an old-fashioned 2-1-2 off the back of that. Windrunner's still in the pool, at least for the moment. We'll see if LGD has the same thing in mind, possibly wanting to take that hero away. From EHOME, Enigma still around as well. And, yeah, Black Hole's pretty tough to land and hit land consistently, I should say, in the best of situations. You put an Enigma with a Naga Siren, though, it gets a lot easier to team fight even with the Tidehunter on the other side.
The thing about this situation is if anyone was going to take Enigma, it would have to be EHOME. Like,
Right.
Playing Enigma against a Brewmaster is just a headache. You can't ultimate the illusions, like you can't black hole them, and you can still get boulder thrown. And I've seen it before, and it's just really, really a hassle to play against the hero in general. So if LGD thought they were going to be going for something like that, they would have pretty much just taken it out. And they're going to go ahead and ban out Rasta here, which is a little bit interesting. They do need extra supports, and the Chinese teams especially do like running him in that role. I think he's a hero who relies on early levels, but I'm not going to argue with something that usually works out for them because getting a quick 6 on something like a Shadow Shaman is what we usually see, like just solo mid, but they'll play him as a support, and once he gets his level 6, he becomes much more potent than other supports, so it's kind of like a trade-off. You get your level slower, but once you get to that point, you're going to be stronger than other supports would be at that particular stage in the game. And Windrunner seen out here from EHOME as well. It's a bit of a defensive pick, but again, you can line up a lot of abilities. I mean, there's just so much synergy in Naga Siren to be had. It's really hard to not be able to see the possibilities that are coming out from EHOME already.
Yeah. We're actually going to see Disruptor. Yeah. That's we saw him played in our round of 16. And it was, I won't call it a throwaway match. It was the Aeon versus Zenith match, so it was kind of insane, more or less. But, yeah, I mean, Disruptor, a hero that I personally haven't casted a ton, but he's one of those heroes I think most people when they watch him played can see there's some potential there. It's just so hard to find a way to make him work exactly the way you think he may work when you're up against a team as good as him. We are going to see the Enigma pick up. I think, again, I mean, Enigma comes out. You've got the. I really think LGD may be in some trouble here. That's so much team fight, and as you pointed out, just so much synergy. And Rubik's going to be able to steal one of any of an innumerable number of major abilities. Usually, once the initiation is over and all the fireworks go off on the side of LGD, Rubik should be in a good position to get just about any spell that he wants.
I'm curious to see how this Disruptor pick is going to work out, because if you think about it, he has a very, very long silence. If he's able to catch somebody in his field and get his ultimate off, that's a really strong combination. I mean, you can get locked down even past that if you get something like a Ravage going off after the fact, and apparently people are disconnecting. I'm not sure if we're actually remaking the game, because I've only seen 2 people DC so far, but I'm not really sure what's going to go on. I'm going to go ahead and ask Mally.
Yep, hope not. Hope not. Hopefully everybody's just reconnecting. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, everyone's leaving.
Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and pop out to our little banner. Thanks for joining us, by the way. We'll get this sorted out in the background. I'm going to guess there was a disconnect issue, but it is our great good pleasure to have you here, especially if you're in the United States, or North America, I should say, in this hemisphere, because you're up damn early, just like Draskell and I are. Draskell, as always, as bad as I have it, you got it twice as bad. Actually, make it 3 times as bad. I'm up casting at 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It is 7:30 a.m. The cows have been milked, and Draskell's ready for Dota.
Well, it's actually 2 hours later. Actually, no, wait, that's not even right. It's 4 hours later than I usually wake up. because we're actually casting 2.5 hours past what we do typically on Saturday and Sunday. But we had a little bit of a schedule shift, and I think we're casting tomorrow as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, we're off tomorrow. We cast Friday.
Oh, okay.
Friday.
I saw 4 games listed, and I thought we would be casting 4 days in a row, but I guess we're just going to bump it to Friday, so that's good.
Yep, and most likely,
sleep in.
as things continue to work themselves out, and again, want to thank Molly in the background, as you pointed out, our Lord High God admin, who keeps all of the Chinese, Malaysians, and other Asians in line, has done a great job. This has really been his baby, and he's done an amazing job keeping everything straight and doing all the scheduling and just letting Draskell and I focus on casting primarily. But if I'm not mistaken, Friday it's going to be a 9 a.m. cast for our last round of 8, which is going to be Tong Fu versus IG. And then our Final Four are going to kick off on Saturday, the next Saturday after that, I should say. So we'll be casting 3 times again if all goes to plan next weekend as well, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we'll be looking to schedule our championship off of that. But yeah, looks like, yep, Molly asked him what happened. King J says bad connection and all that fun stuff, so everyone getting set back up. And all of the action, by the way, brought to you by our fantastic sponsors, Lost Energy Drink, Own 3D TV, Max Integration, Team Razor, and of course itsgosu.com, where we're from. And if you happen to be one of those folks who, even at this late stage, you're still waiting to find a beta key, you've been wanting to play some Dota 2, but for whatever reason have not been able to get your hands on a beta key, if you head to itsgosu.com, find this event, and the event page, I should say, we're having a contest. All you have to do is install Raid Call, join the official It's Gosu Raid Call channel, and we're giving out 50, that's right, 50 beta keys this weekend. So this is your last chance this weekend. If we have any keys left over, we'll be looking to get rid of those next weekend. But best no time like the present. If you're looking for a beta key, install Raid Call and get going so you can get into the game just like we are now. Looks like we are remade. Hopefully, yep, it is hosted as all pick. So we should be moving pretty quickly here, Draskell.
Hopefully, Mally remembered to host all pick because I mean it. Okay, cool. I actually didn't get to look at the bottom before the game started. I kind of joined the lobby. I was listening to you, and I was looking at the brackets again because I'm just like, wow, there's not another bad game. I mean, it's just going to be all amazing teams. So
yeah, it's
pretty excited, especially for this best of 3.
No doubt about it. Let me see. I want to see how the captains pick. Yeah, it does actually show up kind of okay. So we'll let the viewers watch as everyone picks very quickly. But
everyone disconnected again.
Oh, good. Good. Well, we had the teams here on time. Looks like some kind of connection or server issues, but thanks for being patient with us, viewers. We'll be getting the game to you as quickly as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a ride, man. And you and I, this has been a real fun experience for you and I in particular, because neither of us had really casted a lot of Asian Dota up until Monthly Madness. But just in the course of the last 3 weeks, we have really gotten to see about the cream of the crop, more or less, the best of the best, even including absolute legends who, of course, they're the Aussies, but we still count them as Asians because, hey, why not? They're in that they're in that hemisphere.
Well, I really do. I mean, AL is a really unique situation. They're pretty much isolated from everyone, so they get to play against everyone, but they also get to play against everyone on like 300 plus ping.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really rough, man. Like, as much as you want to say they can get used to the lag, it's not something that's favorable for them. I'm really interested to see how they do on LAN. I know that a majority of the team, if not all of them, are really good friends with each other, especially in real life. I think actually Soupy lives within like walking distance of a couple of the members of Absolute Legend, so that's definitely going to help them on LAN because they're already familiar with their teammates. I know some teams haven't really met most of their players and stuff. Like as we get closer to the international, that's going to become a factor. Teams are going to start boot camping if they haven't already done that. I think a lot of teams actually have, but yeah, I like Absolute Legends. They're a really, really good team. A bit slumpy lately. I mean, I've talked to Snoopy a handful of times, and there's just some problems. I hope they can get it resolved in the next month or so, because obviously International is going to be rolling around very, very soon.
If there's anything that's going to motivate a team to get it together if you're having some kind of internal issue, it's going to be a 7-figure first prize, courtesy of Valve. That's coming our way. But I mean, can you believe how close we are to the International too? By the way, I got to looking at the calendar. It's literally like 30 days, man. 30 days, and all the action's going to kick off in Seattle. Really looking forward to that. And for the third time, we're going to see if we can get EHOME and LGD game number 1 underway. For just tuning in, we are, once again, sorry for the delays. A little bit of connection issue on the side of EHOME, but hopefully all sorted out. And this best of 3 is our third round of 8 matchup. Our final round of 8 matchup will take place this coming Friday at 9 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. That would make it, that would make it 1500, yeah, I think that's right, 1500 Central European Time, and we hear the picks coming out. It was hosted as all picks, so this should go pretty quickly. But make sure you tune in for that. So hit follow here on the stream. We definitely want to have you back in the future and look forward to bringing you more awesome Dota, not just for Monthly Madness Asia, but for all of the other events. We'll be looking forward to cast in the future. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of covered everything. I think we covered the sponsors, covered the contest, just waiting on our good buddies from China to get their heroes picked.
Yeah, you can actually click near the top left to see the drop down to where you would normally see the experience and kills and stuff, and it'll tell you what everybody's playing. But the pick window is still bugged. I can only see Brewmaster actually being picked, but everybody has their heroes. It just takes a minute for the screen to actually load out. And I really want to know what LGD is going to do for lanes. I'm kind of feeling like they should try lane because they have a Queen of Pain and an Invoker.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that either Zhao 8 is going to go to the safe lane. Yeah, he is. Okay, so he's going to go to the safe lane. They're just going to try lane bottom with Disruptor, Tide, and CK. And that's a very, very strong try lane, especially considering the fact that low level of kinetic field, if you manage to land it, it's 2.5 seconds of not being able to go anywhere. And that's a pretty sizable disable, again, if you can actually get it off. And I think with an extra stun and a slow coming out from this try lane, they should be able to manage that pretty easily. And his damage output is really high, especially during the early phases of the game. He has a nuke at level 1 that does basically 150 damage before mitigation. And that's, I think, higher than pretty much anyone, aside from maybe a Shadow Strike or something like that.
Well, we'll run through our lineups. Well, actually, I'm going to hold off on that. Looks like there could be potential for a little bit of an early team fight. Nope. Looks like they're both just going to stay on their own sides of the jungle, so we'll take this opportunity to do so. King J going to be playing our Enigma. Lanham going to be playing our Naga Siren. Perfect playing Brewmaster. Windrunner going to be handled by Q. And Mai going to be played by Rubik. On the other side of the river, we're going to have Zhao 8 handling our Queen of Pain, who we saw use the great effect last time around. Sylar playing our CK. Invoker going to be played by Yao. DDC playing the surprise pick of the match, Disruptor, and Tidehunter going to be handled by DD. We'll see how they decide to lane this. Brew hanging out towards mid right now. Solo lane Windrunner probably the most likely, especially if Brew's going to be there. But Enigma still back towards the base. We'll see where he wants to wind up. And we're going to have we may have a very early first blood. Naga Siren and Rubik caught out. And some damage is being done here. Just very, very slowly. Rubik doing damage on the backside. There's another gush. Lanham trying to make a run for it. Not going to get the safety. Tidehunter puts first blood on the board at 20 seconds in. 1-0 LGD.
That's a perfect start. I mean, they couldn't have killed the better hero, too.
Yeah.
Killing the Naga Siren. And he was even forced to get Mirror Image at level 1 just to try to escape from the gank, which is the right call if you're trying to just simply live in that situation. But he's not going to be able to walk up the creeps and Riptide or anything. He's going to have a really tough time CSing in this lane. Even with the Rubik as a support, like, he's not really going to be able to help him in terms of lane presence. He's going to have to harass against a Disruptor, and his animation and damage is pretty much just as good as a Rubik's in this case. So they're going to have to wait for the Enigma to make something happen in the bottom lane, and King J is going to need levels for that. Like, he can't come down here before like level 3 or 4. I feel like it's going to be a waste of his time, and they're going to see it coming too. I mean, this ward placement coming out from LGD is very, very common nowadays. It sees pretty much the entirety of the opening in the jungle, I guess you could call it, where everybody's going to be coming to you to gank if they don't come from the river, which the river is even warded as well. So LGD just doing everything they can to ensure this tri-lane success.
Yeah, and we talk about this all the time. If you're going to go with a long lane, tri-lane like we see out of LGD, this is basically an all-in. If you screw this up, the game is almost over before it starts. But so far, they're off to a great start. They've already got 1 kill on Lanham. And Rubik, as you point out, I mean, they can only do so much here. It's just going to be basically trying to last it near the tower until King J gets the levels he needs to come out of the jungle. We'll see what they can get done in the meantime. Top lane, going to have a battle of our Queen of Pain versus our Windrunner. Queen has already put 1 point into the Shadow Strike. Just add a little extra harassment, trying to keep Windrunner back. Windrunner, of course, going to be able to harass quite well just through her auto attacks and power shot. And Brewmaster versus Invoker. Now, this situation where you kind of gotta pick your poison. It's really risky to just let a Brewmaster hang out uninhibited in mid lane, even against an Invoker. So we'll see if there's going to be any activity towards mid to try and shut him down, or if LGD is just going to focus 100% on this tri-lane.
I think they're going to be primarily focusing on the tri-lane. The Queen of Pain's not going to have too hard of a time against the Windrunner. Queen of Pain, especially in her safe lane, should win this. She's sitting at 10-3 right now, where the winner is at 6-0, so she already is currently winning. The big problem right now for EHOME is the fact that they're playing against an Exort Invoker with basically a stun and another lockdown in the kinetic field. So if anybody gets caught by that, they're going to be in a massive amount of trouble. And Rubik is actually trying to double pull right now to just deny the entire creep wave, which is very, very good if they can get away with it. But he also needs to be careful, because if he gets caught, he's not living. He'll just die.
We see LGD reacting to that, trying to chase off the twitchy little caster. Yeah, and they are going to go ahead and take control of the jungle here, Naga Siren. Just nothing she can do. She's got 2 points in her mirror image. Instead of focusing out on the Ensnare or the Riptide. And LGD, I mean, it's pretty much in LGD's court here. How aggressive do they want to play this? They have the potential to dive at just about any point and at any level. Looks like they're just going to wait to get a few more points in the abilities they feel like they need the most. Gush, of course, very important if they decide to go that route. In mid, Brewmaster he's hanging in. He's got 13 last hits. That's actually beating Yao, but no real surprise there. I mean, Brew's just kind of tough to deal with in mid in general. He has so much... I guess you would call it ability harassment. If you get too close to him at all, he's just going to clap you, and there's nothing much that can be done about it. It's not like you can chase him or try to punish him at these early levels. You really need help either out of the jungle or out of another lane to really get in his face and keep him from farming up.
Well, in this particular phase, yeah, I think Brewmaster is hard to deal with. He has a high base armor for a strength hero. He didn't even start with a stout. He actually went for the fast bottle.
Yep.
And if he has full rune control, then that's a perfectly viable choice, except right now, oh, nice deny. There's actually a conversion sitting there at the bottom rune spot waiting just to make sure that the other mid didn't get it. And that's definitely going to help out the Brewmaster as well. Even though he doesn't get it himself, it means that there's no chance that Invoker is going to be getting it. And he can come back to the lane, spam out his clap for CS. That's what he's probably going to do, considering he's starting to bottle Crow.
Right.
As soon as he noticed he didn't get that rune, he just sent his Crow back to the base. And I actually like the option that Naga Siren chose to take here and just go for the illusions instead. It helps him CS, and he doesn't have to worry about kind of going down just from stun locks, because those illusions hurt, man, even at low level. Like, their damage is very, very high. It's a nice percentage increase to what he already has. So.
Well, just that it adds to the survivability. I mean, EHOME has to be aware that at some point these 3 heroes are going to start to dive in this tri-lane. They're just not going to allow Naga Siren to CS much longer than they absolutely have to. Hang on, we've got a Sunstrike that's coming down. Didn't see, yep, okay, landed on the high ground, didn't connect. Zhao 8 giving a little harassment here to Windrunner. She's going to blink forward and scream and get the kill as well. So Brewmaster gets a little damage done, lands a very fortuitous crit. And 4 seconds cooldown, that doesn't matter. Just going to go ahead and outrun Brew and get the safety thanks to a healing salve. But I can see a Riptide landed. I can tell just by looking at LGD's heroes here. But yeah, make it 2-0 LGD.
Well, I mean, if they keep killing heroes like that, and that was a really weird play by the Windrunner. Like, QQQ turned around, and he knew that the Queen of Pain was going to continue chasing. I'm not sure if he saw Quap's mana, but he had Windrun up, didn't even bother trying to use it. If he had used it as soon as the blink came out, the auto attack would have missed and probably let her live for an extra couple of seconds, which would have caused Queen of Pain to die if she kept going.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if he's lagging or something like that, but it's just really strange to see just him flat out not using an ability to survive.
Team-wide, we can see LGD's definitely getting the better of the last hits. Enigma, the leader on the board with 31, 22 for Brug, doing quite well in mid. Naga Siren, though, not off to the best start in the world. Already has 1 death, only has 8 last hits at this point. 29, 24, and 28 for Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, and Invoker, respectively. So Invoker getting his count up as well. And yeah, this is just kind of a one-laning phase, at least at this point for LGD. It's not that they've done amazingly well. It's not like they pulled off crazy movement or anything like that. They're just doing the little things right. Their fundamentals are good. They picked themselves into this situation, and they're capitalizing on it to the tune of about a 1,200 gold lead.
Yeah, and the problem lies now that...
Oh, here comes Enigma.
We're going to see a gang bottom.
Yep, oh, good black hole. Gonna catch 2. Sylar and DD. Here comes Disruptor as well. Gonna try to buy his fellas some time. Doesn't look like it's gonna work out. Tide making a run for it. CK in trouble as well. Tide's actually gonna make it to safety. And CK barely gets picked off there. So it took literally everything they had to try and get that 1 kill on the board, but at the very least, they do get 1 as DD smiling all the way back to the well.
It's a very much needed kill, and that's what I was saying too. As soon as King J gets some levels, he's going to be active. And the fact that he waited until after the 6-minute mark to go gank, he knew that the ward, there was a good chance. Like, there's always a 30-second to 1-minute window where wards won't be up.
We got a whiff on an ulti from Queen of Pain. She dove, and she's going to get punished. Great TP reaction there from Perfect. happened to have the camera on. It was doing a little light harassment. Windrunner ran back to her own Tier 1 tower, and Queen of Pain just went for it and paid the price. All knotted up 2-2. EHOME, who was in a little bit of a hole, I wouldn't even call it a hole, call it a minor ditch, is now back on even ground.
It's exactly what they need to keep doing, and they need to be really careful about how they commit to killing this Naga. Only 1 second stun, that's a bummer.
Still, she's been having so much. Oh, good stun by Rubik there. Sunstrike not going to land. Well anticipated there by Naga Siren. Thought she was going to drop there, not going to lie. Yeah, the 1 second stun, a little bit of bad luck for Siler, but she lives to find another day. Comes right back up to the forefront and wants to get those levels, get that experience. 8 minutes in. What seemed to be a relatively calm laning phase now getting much more active. And again, as you pointed out, that's expected. King J starting out in the defensive tri-lane position in the friendly jungle is going to have to be active. And that's usually, this is pretty par for the course. If you're going to put Enigma in the jungle, he's going to have to get out and about as soon as he hits 6. As soon as his abilities get where they need to be, especially once he has a soul ring, which we see obviously King J does, he's going to be able to continue to farm up. Enigma, one of the fastest farmers in the jungle. But he's going to have to move from lane to lane and capitalize on any overextension given by LGD at all.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime he's in a position to turn fights around like that, especially when he has his black hole up, he needs to pretty much be there. He knows that too. I mean, that's why his movement, and it was perfectly timed again, waiting for the rune to despawn, or the ward to despawn before he decided to gank. It was just absolutely perfect. There was no way the LGD could have seen that coming unless they had their wards up perfectly, which obviously they didn't in that particular case. And that kind of relieved some pressure from bottom lane. They need to make sure they keep doing it, though. That's the thing. Killing the Queen of Pain is nice. She played over aggressive, and they got a kill on it, which is definitely good. But she's still sitting at 39 CS and 19 comparative to the 19 and 1 of Windrunner. So she is very handily winning this lane, as I kind of expected again. Queen of Pain's so hard to lane against in a 1v1, especially when you're in that kind of scenario for the Windrunner. And there are just 2 lanes right now that need attention all the time from EHOME. They need to help bottom and they need to help top all the time.
Agreed. And that's really, again, they picked themselves in this situation. King J's actually hanging out in the jungle a bit longer than I thought he would. At this point, I would have thought he would have done something. Invoker has 100% turned around mid lane. He was having a little trouble early on, but Brood 100% behind now. Actually, Invoker, the second leading CS on the map, 53, up against the 34 of Brew. So Brew not doing a horrible job. Did manage to pick up a kill at top as well, so that helps things. But at the same time, again, I mean, King J, it looks like he's waiting on, okay, he's got smoke, he's got his boots, he's picking up counter wards. I'm a little surprised. I feel like it's a little bit more passivity out of that Enigma than I would have expected.
Well, I think he's just under the assumption that there's going to be wards in this tri-lane the entire time, and that assumption is correct. It's better to just free farm or go for a lane gank like he's doing right now than it is to walk through that jungle just straight to the lane, because he would have got spotted out and it would have been pretty much just a complete waste of his time. But right now, because he's going through the lane, he knows there won't be wards there. He's just assuming there's going to be a rune ward and there's going to be another jungle ward, which there are, so that's really good anticipation from him. And since it's nighttime, they don't know he's here right now.
Yep.
They might try to bait an engagement, or they might just go all in with the Brewmaster who has ultimate and a smoke.
Siren pops the ulti. They're getting into position. We've got TP reactions coming in, though. There's the black hole, gonna catch 3. Sunstrike comes as well. Big scream comes out. LGD still standing for the moment. Just so much team fight potential, but with Queen of Pain, she's able to turn things around. We're going to have a big stun on Zhao from the Brewmaster, though. Brewmaster, oh, wow, 4-staffing Queen of Pain. Actually keeps her alive a little bit longer. Oh, Brew with a good clap. Manages to catch 2 as his ulti wears off. Siler is going to survive, but the Ravage, which had been held back, finally comes out. And we're going to have a 3-for-1 trade. LGD leads 5-4 following that engagement, and I mean it was a good engagement from EHOME, but I think a better turnaround from LGD just by pure holding off on the Ravage. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure he was 6 already, so he held off on the Ravage until the last minute, and it allowed him to come out ahead there.
I really like the fact that EHOME chose to engage that, except that they did it on top of his tower. If that had been in any other position, they would have won that team fight pretty much flat out, but the immediate reaction coming out from the Queen of Pain, Invoker was already halfway there, didn't manage to save Queen of Pain with the 4-staff though, even though it was really well placed, so Power Shot still managed to clip that Queen of Pain. I just think that they didn't have enough follow-up damage right away. I'm not sure if the Brewmaster just didn't clap before he ulted. I feel like that is probably what ended up happening, because really no one in that black hole took any damage.
Yeah.
So I'm not too keen on the fact that they didn't have any follow-up for it, but if they do that again and manage to not do it on top of a tower, I think it's going to be pretty difficult for LGD to fight that.
We're going to have, 3-second Chaos Bolt going to catch our Rubik. Rubik is going to drop. Invoker picks up the kill using the Sunstrike. EHOME there in force to force this back. A little bit of power shot spam. But CK is actually off to a really good start as well. He's got 40 last hits, and taking a look at the kills, he's 1-1-3. So already has 1 kill to his name. And a relatively calm game again. I mean, 12 minutes in, 10 kills. I mean, it's activity. But given that we do have at least one team that's going to be focused on teamfight almost exclusively. We do have Naga Siren rotating to top, though. Looks like Windrunner does not like matching up against Zhao 8, at least not for the moment. We'll see how she can do in bottom lane.
I feel like this lane swap doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. I mean, the Queen of Pain's not really going to feel too scared here.
Another 3-second stun from the Chaos Bolt. Windrun's going to be burned. Oh, but Tide's there with the Gush. She's not going to get far. We're probably, definitely going to see a dive. Oh, good. Shackle Shot buying herself a little bit of time. Tranquil Boots. Not enough to save her, though, as she drops in the shadow of her own tower. But here's Brew, going to catch DD, who's now being targeted by the tower. He's just going to try and TP away Malefice from King J. Going to make sure that's not a reality. Just doing what damage he can before he drops. Actually is making a run for it. Are you kidding me? Is he going to survive? Surely not. Surely someone's going to catch him.
Move speed. He's not going to die.
That's the second time. DD, no matter what his faith, made his offerings this morning. Going to make it back home for the second time with less than 5% HP.
That 310 base move speed, man. Too strong.
Too strong.
Way too strong.
That was a good TP reaction from Brew. I mean, obviously disappointed they didn't manage to get the kill there. Tide quite happy to take it, though. 7-4, the current lead, favoring LG in terms of the scoreboard. We'll take a look at the gold graph. It's been kind of up and down. We're at about 1,000 differential now, but we're at 14 minutes, and that's, we're getting to the point where 1,000, even 1,500, 2,000 just isn't all that much. That can turn around very, very quickly. But for the moment, LGD, pretty much courtesy entirely of the extra few kills they have, leading things.
Well, the thing that's really hurting EHOME right now is their laning phase. I mean, there's been often times where you look at a team and you're like, wow, they have great synergy, and then you see their lanes and you're like, well, how are you going to win your long lane and your safe lane, because you're up against a tri-lane coming out from LGD who has insane kill potential, and you're also laning top against a hero like the Windrunner 1v1. Windrunner doesn't win that anyway unless his power shots are just, like, immaculate. So given the fact that he's in a long lane and the Queen of Pain's in a safe lane, it's going to be twice as hard to do that. So you kind of have 2 throwaway lanes at this particular stage in the game for EHOME. And King J definitely made a really good gank on bottom lane once, but he hasn't really been that effective since that point.
Force staff paying itself off for Invoker there. Might have been in some trouble. One thing I do want to point out, Tide has opted to go Bracer Bracer. Bracer Wand even. So not going to be a Blink Dagger anytime, and I think that's pretty solid. A solid decision there. Spending his gold more on survivability, just banking on the fact that his Ravage is not going to be a pure initiation ability so much as it's going to be counter initiation. He's going to be looking to save it to deal with the fallout after the Black Hole Naga Siren combo, and of course Brewmaster has to be talked about in there as well. And speaking of Brew, Perfect gets way into the wrong part of town, and wow, they actually spent a Ravage to bring him down there. Pretty much all of LGD was there. There's a Shackle Shot going to stun DD a little bit as the rest of EHOME reacts, but no engagement for the moment. That was overkill defined, more or less. They blew every single ability they had. King J's there, and now we're going to have Naga Siren. Oh, no, they're really grouped up. This could get...
King J can't hull.
Oh, no.
Oh, he can now.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's... Wow. Naga Siren's ulti wore off, and EHOME's health evaporated. Yeah, that's a miscommunication. That's the only way you can call that. For them to hang around and wait for it, 4-second Chaos Bolt gonna wind up getting another kill for LGD, and they've cracked this game open. They now lead 6 kills, 10-4, and a very key miscommunication there. Bad ulti from Naga Siren has 100% lost in this bottom lane now.
They should have just retreated, and ultimately that Brewmaster kill worked out for them, even though they pretty much went all in with their ultimates. Like, they had to lock him down pretty much flat out. They did it because they assumed that there were TPs coming out from EHOME. And if the Brewmaster got his ult off in that case, he can chase you forever. He can guarantee probably get 2 of your teammates killed. So it makes sense for them, for LGD to go all in to make sure they get that kill because they know that there's somebody else coming.
Right.
And the whole Naga Siren ultimate, that was definitely miscommunication. Like, King J had to basically get mana booted, I think, by somebody to even have mana. Does anyone even have mana boots? Yeah, they do. Okay, so the Naga Siren has them. But he is still 1 mana short.
Right.
And the ultimate was almost done at that point. There were only 2 people he could possibly get, so it's like, okay, we just need to try to run, but it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, that was kind of that. There were 2 miscommunications there. One was blowing it and expecting King J to black hole, and it didn't come, of course. I think they still would have been fine if they had just fallen back to the tower and forced LGD to engage into them at the tower. Would have bought them some time for Brewmaster to get back up. Speaking of, I want to point out, he did finish a Blink Dagger. I'm a little questioning the Blink Dagger choice. You've already got Naga Siren on your side and the black hole. You're not going to be blinking the clap and ulti for the most part. You're not going to be the primary initiator. So I don't know how much that helps him. I mean, 2,100 gold. That's 2,100 gold that could have had him very close to an Aghanim Scepter. But choice is made. QQQ in a bit of trouble. Is going to be caught by Disruptor. Siler's there doing what damage he can. Silences are both out. And it looks like they're going to pick up 2 more kills here in mid, and they are, most certainly. Tide just staying right on top of Rubik is going to go ahead and anchor smash his way to another kill on the board, make it 12-4. LGD running away with this early game.
The laning phase, man, it just hurt EHOME really badly. Like, they weren't necessarily super far behind, but you have to keep in mind, like, Naga Siren needs some items. Like, she has a pretty good amount of farm right now. I mean, 56 CS at 1830 isn't spectacular, but against a tri-lane, it's actually better than I was expecting. She's abusing the illusions and the Riptide to be able to keep CSing, and that's one of the strengths of Naga, and I think they were relying on that a bit too much in the early phases. And when King J came and ganked, they had a little bit of glimpse of hope, but it's just that this Queen of Pain top, like 92 CS, almost sitting at that 100 mark, probably going straight for a Hex at this point, already has an ultimate orb picked up. Like, everyone from LGD has a tremendous amount of farm, even a tri-lane Tide. I mean, the one who's hurting the most is Disruptor, and obviously he's a pure support in this game. He's basically just been buying wards. He has an urn, and he's got 6 assists. And this Disruptor is actually working out pretty darn well for LGD. The team fights that I've been seeing, when they drop the Static Storm on top of anything like a Kinetic Field or a Ravage, no one can do anything from EHOME. They just basically die in it.
Yeah, it's you don't want to call something like this early, but I think this may be at least one way to try to deal with a Naga Siren synergizing with other big AoE heroes. I think it's a viable approach to trying to deal with it, and we may see it end up being used more in the future. But we're approaching 20 minutes, and we'll take another look at the gold graph as EHOME decides they're going to go ahead and push down. Looks like 7,500 gold for LGD. That's pretty significant even at this stage of the game. And
it is.
We'll see if they're going to add to it or if EHOME's going to close the gap. Makings of a team fight up here. LGD up here in force. EHOME not retreating completely. Naga Siren kind of dipping in and out of the woods. Enigma is hiding up here at the top. Now, oh, Chaos Bolt going to land. Here comes Naga Siren. Now, King J was hiding up top. Let's see what kind of black hole he can get. He's going to get 2. Sylar and DD, and they're going to be focused down. But here, oh, wow. Just look at EHOME melt. The ulti from Queen of Pain, the Ravage. LGD just has too much. Too many abilities, too many items, too much farm, too strong a team. 3-0 the trade there, and they couldn't have asked for a better engagement. EHOME's in trouble.
They caught the Tide, too. I mean, yeah, they caught the Tide and the CK. King J got a pretty much full duration hold-off right there. They even had a shackle between the two. I think it was a bit early. QQQ threw it out kind of right away. But the Disruptor counter-initiation, man, that is really strong. Like, they kinetic fielded right on top of the 2 heroes that were getting tunnel-visioned and threw out the Static Storm. And then after that, the follow-up was just basically non-existent. And those 2 bracers and the cloak for Tide paid off right there because he actually lived through all of that damage to be able to get his Ravage off. Yeah,
exactly. And again, I think this exactly what Tide has done, and he's even going to be going for a pipe down, which is just going to make him even harder to kill. I think that's the approach Bruce should have taken. Of course, I'd like to see the early ags, but I'm just, it's nitpicking, sure, but when I see that early Blink Dagger on a team that's built like EHOME's, I don't understand it. Anyway, LGD has added to that lead substantially. They defend the Tier 1 top tower, and their inventories continue to fill up. It's, pretty soon Invoker's going to have a sheep stick on top of a 4 staff, and we're at 21 minutes. That is one hellaciously fed Invoker. 5-0-7, yeah. 107 last hits as well. And this is where, I always point this out, and I think anyone can agree. Whenever one team can just waddle into Roche and just feel 100% confident that there's very little, if anything, the other team can do to stop it, that's when you know a game is in dire, dire danger of swinging out of control.
It's because they don't have any awards here, but especially, like, even if they knew,
yeah, what are
they have
do?
to wait for Naga ult to engage. I mean, they can't play without it, and it's a 2-minute cooldown right now. It's going to be 60 seconds once he gets level 16, if the game ends up lasting that long. What I really like, what LGD did this game, is they knew, like, as soon as they picked Tide, like I mentioned it to him, like, they wanted him. They didn't want to just take it away from EHOME because they had the opportunity to do that regardless. They wanted the hero for counter initiation. They knew that if they get Naga ulted and there's any follow-up, if they don't have something massive to turn a team fight around, that it's going to be pretty much an uphill battle for them. But they managed to secure the Tide in the first 6, and I think after seeing the kind of effect that a Tide will have against a Naga Siren in this game especially, and this is a tri-lane Tide. This is a Tide that basically didn't get farm.
Yep.
I mean, he's got 38 CS at 23 minutes, and he's still being this effective against the strategy that EHOME's running. I think that LGD pretty much laned and picked this brilliantly.
Yeah, and I think Disruptor's a big part of that as well. I think we need to point that out. It's just the way those two heroes work to shut down something like we're seeing right now, the Naga Siren plus Enigma in particular. I think this, we've been thinking about it, talking about it. We both kind of went and talked to our other pro player buddies about it. And I think this is actually a combination that is viable to say, okay, you don't want to call it a hard counter, but this is a way that you can screw up what a Naga Siren might have in store. LGD leads 15-4 here in game number 1 of this best of 3 in our 3rd round of 8 matchup and Monthly Madness Asia. If you're just tuning in, I'm EC, joined by Draskell for the broadcast, and it's been a real fun match, man. It's been a hell of a fun match to watch and to cast. LGD has opened themselves up quite a sizable lead. In excess of 10,000 gold now, experience right on that 10,000 mark. The last hits show it, the items show it, everything shows it. It's their game to win or lose. EHOME's going to have to battle, but when you've got a Naga Siren on your team, sometimes all it takes is one team fight to turn things around.
That can definitely be the case. The only thing that really shocks me is the fact that EHOME hasn't even managed to get a single tower.
Yep.
I mean, LGD still has all their tier 1 standing right now, and it's 24 minutes into the game. That's pretty unheard of, especially considering the amount of initiation power they have.
Yep.
Again, their laning phase did not go well for them at all. I mean, the Brewmaster probably did the best out of anyone, and he was even in the lane that doesn't necessarily favor him. I wanted to actually talk about the Blink Dagger thing, by the way, because I didn't get a chance to earlier. There were just too many team fights going on. Blink, I think for him, is more to just get out of his ultimate and not have to worry about overcommitting.
Yep.
And it's to be able to chase as well. So it's not just the initiation factor. It's more so, like, he can use it in a multitude of different ways. Because when you're Brewmaster Ultimate, you can always Blink pretty much no matter what. Once your aspects actually fade and you go back to your normal form. So that's one reason. And again, if they manage to get a team fight where they win, they want to be able to get everything they can from it, and a Blink can definitely help you out with that.
I understand. I do see it. I just don't know that that would be more valuable than having Ags up, especially once Naga Siren gets her cooldown on her ulti back up. They're going to be wanting to fight quickly every chance they get, more or less, and abuse the fact that Tidehunter's ulti is going to be on a much longer cooldown. We'll see, though. EHOME is applying a little pressure. Hex up on Invoker. He manages to catch Landham, and here comes the pain. Caught out by a Chaos Bolt. He's locked down, and it looks like Rubik hung around too long. He did. He's picked off. Enigma is going to be able to TP back to safety. But, yeah, that's 2 very, very quick kills put on the board for LGD, just adding to their total. 17-4 now. And, yeah, I mean, it's... I guess of everyone on their team, Invoker being the most fed isn't the end of the world, but when he has a Force Staff and a Scythe of Ice up at this stage of the game, you can't make any mistakes. And I was actually just going to say, I think the one saving grace EHOME may have is the pick and push approach. Hang on, double damage is popped on Perfect Cat, doesn't matter. He's going to drop underneath the Sunstrike. That's another kill. Add to Invoker's total. Now up to 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. But
this Disruptor, man, it's working out so well.
Yeah, it really, really is. I'm really surprised, and this is what makes you love Dota. Disruptor, a fun hero to play if you've played him before. He's fun to watch. The few times I've seen him used, only second time. But to see him used in a way that is just so smart and is really, really playing into the game plan. Like, this isn't just a, well, let's try this. This is a well-executed approach to a hero, which a lot of folks would never guess would be seen in many pro games at all. Instead, he's really a central character in LGD's success at this point.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job of having good ultimates and such, and this Naga Siren needs to be careful. Actually wasted her ultimate there, didn't even sleep a single person out. She's going to die anyway.
That's... And they're just going to do this the entire game. They are so far ahead that they have no reason to worry at all about running on the other side of the river as a 3, 4-man, 5-man gank party. Like, there's just no threat at all. Even with Naga Siren, her ult is on such a long cooldown, she just has not gotten the level she needs. and they're just going to begin to push racks here, which is fine. I mean, Ravage is up. Everything's basically off of cooldown for them. I mean, we haven't even really seen I mean, CK has landed a few good Chaos Bolts, but whenever you have a Chaos Knight that has a good start and he's relatively quiet compared to the success of the other heroes on your team's usually going to be in pretty good shape.
Definitely. At this stage, like, I don't really know what EHOME's going to plan to do about this. I mean, every single hero right now on LGD has at least a handful of items. If you look at even the long laner, the winner, like, she has Tranquil Boots, a Force Staff, and a Soul Ring. That's like, it's not a bad build, but it's a build that you use when you don't have a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty much all I can say. I mean, he didn't really have a choice in the matter, and Rubik doesn't really have anything either. He's only level 7. I mean, right now LGD just looks really freaking strong, and I think that their draft and their lanes were they were too good, and EHOME just couldn't recover fast enough to kind of do anything about it.
Yeah, being forced off the tower a little bit. Phantasm was popped by CK, but enough spam damage coming out from the heroes back defending. Enigma's been doing a good job of pushing while he can, by the way. Ooh, barely gets away there. Tide just having no stun. Could have blown Ravage, did not do so. There was about a quarter-second window where maybe he could have landed something. But in the meantime, EHOME does hold, so they have that going for them. Managed to hold the Tier 3. And it's 30 minutes in, so it's not like, oh, it's bad that they were being pushed at this point. I mean, LGD's still very, very far ahead. I think, again, if EHOME's going to have any saving grace, what they need to do is pick 1 or 2 heroes off, mainly this Disruptor. If they can isolate this Disruptor, pick him off and get him out of the fight, then push behind the strength of Black Hole and the Siren Song. At that point, I think they can begin to win team fights, but it's basically an all or nothing. Either you pick and push, or you're just going to continue to lose team fights, barring some immaculate initiation or huge mistake out of LGD, such as just having 1 or 2 heroes completely on the wrong side of the map with no ability to get to where they need to be.
DDC's been playing an amazing game, though. Like, he's never been out of position. He has 1 death against a team like EHOME's. Like, that's honestly shocking. Like, if he gets caught by anything on that team, he is simply just going to die. And they have a counter initiation with Ravage as well, so that's going to help him out. They just can't really go for him, because if you go in the back and you try to go for a hero who's never going to be on the front lines, you run the risk of basically just losing everybody before you get there, especially when you're this far behind in gold. So I don't really think he's going to even be an optional target unless they get a really good Naga Siren ultimate that somehow hits like 4 or 5 heroes, and even then, if they commit to just the Disruptor,
speaking of Naga Siren, her team, like, I won't say the team left her, but basically, it looked like she didn't get the memo. The rest of EHOME pulled back, and she just decided to hang and try to CS in the enemy jungle, and just 100% got spotted and got killed. Like, there was no question about it. She's now down for 40 seconds, and Windrunner actually gets picked off by Queen of Pain at bottom as well. So LGD.
I was there too.
LGD. I mean, they're just doing all the little things right, man. It started in the laning phase. They've executed and done the small things, the fundamentals, right? They've made very few mistakes, if any, honestly. Like, it's hard for me to even identify one major mistake that would be more than nitpicking.
Well, how many times have we seen tri-lanes and the supports are really underfarmed? They have a lot of needless deaths.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and take a look at the tri-lane supports that came out of LGD. 2-0 and 14 on the Tide, 2-1 and 8 for the Disruptor. The most amount of deaths in their lane was 1 for a hero. I mean, they had the CK with 1 death as well, so 2 deaths, and you have to consider King J was ganking as well, and they had mid come bottom once or twice, and that's where the majority of the team fight was occurring as well.
Hang on, team fight. Speaking of, Siren wants to force one. Sylar and DD are going to be caught out. Black Hole's going to land. No, off goes the Ravage, but the BKB was up. King J timed it just right, but now that it wears off, they didn't pick anyone off. Everyone from LGD is still standing. Finally, CK drops, but he had the Aegis. Tide continues to anchor smash. LGD is not ready to end this fight. Phantasm's popped. There's going to be a Chaos Bolt 2-second stun. On Lanham, he's going to drop. That's a godlike Invoker. He's been godlike all game long. Tide's actually going to survive. Oh, no. There's the Blink Dagger. It pays off just to kill Tide instead of letting him get away for the 3rd time. But Perfect Cat is going to make it back. And, yeah, you could argue that's probably the best team fight EHOME's had all game, but they did lose in melee racks in the process, and they still didn't win in kills. 23-5, favoring LGD, and one begins to suspect GG's may not be far away.
The positioning from LGD is just always really good. I mean, again, they had the Invoker, the Disruptor, and the Queen of Pain all in the back. They didn't get hit by the Black Hole, and In all honesty, they just call GG. They know that they can't really do anything. It's like every time they had an engagement with Nagasire and Ultimate, they're forcing you to go on one of the tankiest heroes in the game in Tidehunter to prevent counter initiation. It's happened every single team fight this game. They're like, okay, we have to try to kill Tide before he can Ravage, and he just got tankier and tankier. His start, he didn't get much CS, but he also didn't die.
Yeah.
People really underestimate how much money you actually get in a 30-minute game if you don't die and get a ton of assists. I mean, he was 2-1-16. And the item build he went for Treads, Double Bracer, and a full Magic Wand, which is another additional 3 stats. So he was like sitting at 1400 HP at like 20 minutes into the game. Then he finished his pipe, and there was just no way they could tunnel vision him down in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's as solid a win as you're ever going to see. And that's what I would call this. This wasn't a stomp by any stretch. EHOME did manage to execute a number of things correctly. We saw in that last team fight, it was really well timed so far as the Enigma. But when you're talking about execution, LGD, to steal a phrase, no, I shouldn't say steal a phrase, to use a phrase I like to use. LGD put on a clinic. Everything done right. Last hits done right. Tri-lane done right. Mid handled correctly. 23-5, the kill score at the end. And, you know, it's tough. It's a game that was so well played by everyone. It's hard to identify anyone as being the quote-unquote standout player. Invoker 9-0-9, just an amazing game out of Yao there. However, I kind of want to, I'm leaning towards you. The fact that DDC was playing on a hero that he can't possibly play that often. There's no way he's a disruptor specialist, and he keeps that guy in his back pocket for daily use. Comes out, goes 2-1-9 in a situation where the lethality of EHOME's team should have led to a lot more deaths. Instead, he actually finishes with a positive KD.
Yeah, I think he played a phenomenal game. I think that pretty much all of the tri-lane did great.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a tri-lane actually being successful for once, because a lot of times you'll see it and there will be a couple of mistakes and the tri-lane will just fall really far behind. And we've seen it especially like in Monthly Madness tournaments. You can fall apart really fast if your tri-lane doesn't do well. But everything execution-wise, decision-making-wise coming out of LGD was pretty much spot on, and EHOME really did not have an answer to it.
32 minutes, 53 seconds. Game 1 goes to LGD. We'll see if EHOME's got it in him to force a Game 3, or if LGD is going to walk on to the Final Four. Game number 2 on the way next.